Hi. Is Steve Kerr the most diabolical hater of all time in NBA history? I'm willing to say yes. I think he stole a page from the Michael Jordan handbook of how to be an ass. So apparently, Jayson Tatum has got no PT as the reigning champion, and I don't know if he was the MVP, but one of the best top players in the league, and he can't get a fucking minute on the court. And once again, this is a funny endeavor like nepotism in the NBA because Steve Kerr said in his line, "I think he handled it well." And I'm looking at it like this is the most disrespectful thing of all time. And now, to some degree, I understand now why Coach K was always responsible for being the NBA's not NBA, but the USA team's basketball coach, because you cannot have NBA coaches with rival players on the squad being like judged by a coach that they would play against, especially somebody who got throttled in the finals by. So anyway, Steve Kerr has decided for some reason Jayson Tatum might not be good enough to play. Now this brings up a couple of questions because once again, we're not all inside of the practices. We're not seeing what's really going on. And when you're playing amongst the best of the best, it's going to be competitive. There's some guys who are not going to get some PT. A lot of people got cut. A lot of people didn't make it on the team, and that's understandable. But what makes this a very precarious situation is how the team snubbed a couple of Boston's best players. So apparently, Jaylen Brown somehow did not make the team, despite being the NBA Finals MVP. But there are other players, something white. I forgot the guy's white. Jayson Tatum, then Drew Holiday, I think, got on the team. So somehow or another, the some of the players from Boston did get on, but for some reason, Steve Kerr decided I'm just gonna snub Jaylen Brown, not Jaylen Brown, but Jayson Tatum, because fuck him. That's why. In the words of Deja Bell. And this is just only takes me to a side note, because what I really want to talk about today is the dream team comparisons. So I get so sick and tired of every year people saying, "Oh, this NBA USA NBA team is good, but they're not the dream team from '92." And I listen to these people talk, and I say this is just a practice in idiocracy and bias, and just old heads refusing to let the young people now be the new torchbearers of what greatness now is. See, listen, I love Michael Jordan just as much as the next person. He's just inspirational to me. I guess it's all you guys watching this video. But we got to keep it a full stack. To argue that back in 1992, which is almost about 22 years ago, to say that players from 22 years ago are better than the players of today is to argue against the idea of evolution and that things get better with time. It's like somebody trying to say N64 is better than PS5. You're going to look at this person, you're going to say, "Sir, I understand you have nostalgia. I understand those games were fun. They were good for the time and they were revolutionary, but none of those games are touching the current games that we have out today." And it's not even close. Same thing with computer powers, TVs, cameras. Everything today is better than it was 20 years ago as far as the technology, the graphics, the processing speed, the amount of players, the things you can do, the memory. It's just better because the things of today built upon the things of yesterday. That's how humans advance. We get better with time. So it makes you question, and you look at these people and say, okay, what makes you think in a hyper competitive niche of professional athleticism in sports, why would something from 20 years ago be better than today? Now, the argument they usually bring up is, well, if the people from 92 had the same technology and medical advancements as the people of today, they will be just as good. And you know what? I will argue with you. You're probably correct on that statement. You absolutely are correct. But if we gave that same advantage, which we will say the players of today, if they had the technology that we're going to produce 20 years in the future, they will still be 20 years in the future better than the people from 20 years ago. So it's ridiculous to kind of even argue this. It's just errors. Except that error was good for that time period. Like legitimately, if we match up player for player for player for each of the good teams, the 92 teams, without a doubt, every player on the 2024 Olympic team roster can probably dust up and take the position of the guy that's playing from 92. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley, none of those guys will be playing against any of the guys that currently play. They will have no answer for KD. They will have no answer for LeBron. They will have no answer for Steph. Those are three generational players that could not be stopped. And they would be shattering. Like a 7-footer who can shoot and dribble and do whatever he wants on the court. There's nobody in 92 that can even have, like, they would, that idea of a 7-footer being even able to dribble, nonetheless shoot, will be mythology. They will laugh you out the building. Get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about? No, that's impossible. So when I look at these things and I examine as just an intelligent person, it's like saying the same thing. You look at the same thing in track and field. Nobody's from 20 years ago can compare to the guys that run today. Nobody, all the guys that run today will smoke the guys of the past because technology, medicine, health and fitness, everything is just better in today's age. There's more competition. We have figured out the science of getting people to be able to do things faster. You take the people who run the mile. A 4-minute mile was considered impossible 50, 60 years ago. Now that's pretty routine. Everybody runs a 4-minute mile. You're not going to qualify for the Olympics if you can't run a 4-minute mile. So it's like, why would you not do the same thing for basketball, football, everything? I tell people all the time, Tom Brady's not the greatest quarterback to ever live. It's Patrick Mahomes, or is a kid that hasn't been born yet. The greatest fighter to ever live hasn't been born yet because they keep getting better. That's why I think John Jones is getting smoked by Tom Aspinall, because the newer class always comes and beats the older class. Never in the history of time has the old dog ever beat the young lion that's going into maturity to be able to come to his prime. And everybody tells you, Michael Jordan. Listen, Michael Jordan will be a guy today's age. He'll be good. Don't get me wrong. He'll be good. But he'll be a guy. He'll be just another star amongst today's age. Because what he was able to do, everybody can essentially do in the NBA now. Everybody has a mid-range. Everybody can dunk. Everybody can fucking shoot. Everybody has better dribble, crossover. The guys were just not as good. They were not as skilled back in the day. It was a much different game. So he was the most skilled amongst the least skilled people of that era. The same way that, like, everybody in today's era, whoever's the toughest and can grind the better is going to be good, because everybody else in today's game is pretty relatively skilled, but they're very weak and fragile. The same thing with like what I think about now. That Francis Wemby guy, he's going to be the best basketball player we ever seen. He's going to outshadow LeBron. Without a doubt, he's going to outshadow LeBron. He doesn't get hurt. He plays forever. He's going to outshadow LeBron. He'll have more championships, more points, more rebounds, more everything. Why? Because he's a 7'2" dude that can do everything that LeBron could do now. Same thing with like Kevin Durant, whatever. Kevin Durant's the prototype. Wemby's him, but better. We're going to keep seeing taller guys be able to do all the things that guards can do. Eventually, the guard position will be raised for the height. There will be a new version of Steph Curry that will come out eventually. At all points in time, we take from the people of today and we build them for the next generation. They take what the inspiration that they learn from Curry, and they'll see other people be just as good as Curry. So eventually, if you watch these kids play basketball on the streets now, all they do is they pull up threes, pull up threes, pull up threes. Everybody's a fucking pull up three artist now. That was not a thing when Michael Jordan was playing. People could not just pull up threes. They had to spot and shoot. They were not shooters. Shooting has gotten better. Health and fitness has gotten better. The players are taller. They're more skilled. So I say all that to say, Steve Kerr is a fucking gangster. He does not like Jayson Tatum. He says, F you for celebrating. You didn't even win it. You got carried. So if you got carried for your championship, we're going to let you get carried for this Olympic team. Let's go USA basketball.